it's crazy that I've maintained my frame and also
Exactly.
just lost a lot of that excess, pudginess. And but it's nice to see the actual like figure of
Yes.
my body and
Yeah.
not just be Pillsbury doughboy walking around.
Hey, Jordan, how's it going, man?
What's going on, brother?
Dude, how are you?
Shit, man, I can't complain too much. Been feeling good. It's nice to be back into things and you know
Yeah.
ready to just get at it for the new year.
Yeah, dude, especially after COVID, bro. Introduce yourself. Like, what do you do? How old are you? Where are you from?
My name's Jordan. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Uh, Honestly, I just
Mhm.
work in a parts department for
Okay.
Mitsubishi, focusing on the gym, just trying to make myself better, every day, see where I can
Yeah.
grow and adapt and
Yeah.
just become a better version of myself. I feel like not too many people do that, or a lot of people say they want to do it and
Absolutely.
just don't.
I wanted to talk a lot about your transformation because I know we've been in this for what, about 4 months or so, and we put you through a little bit of a reverse and we've dropped you down by about 20 pounds. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Somewhere in
would
that
even
range.
say more than that because I think peak bulk, I was in between like 230,
Okay.
225. And now I think I'm consistently hitting 200, even got to 198 one day. Um,
Okay.
so I
One
mean,
night, what,
it
30 pounds.
yeah,
Great.
it's definitely been crazy. I can't tell you how many people are like, you know, it's crazy that I've maintained my frame and also
Exactly.
just lost a lot of that excess, pudginess. And but it's nice to see the actual like figure of
Yes.
my body and not
Yeah.
just be Pillsbury doughboy walking around.
Bro, I mean, you're able to see everything you've worked for. And I want to kind of get a good sense about where you were like before you knew me, before you joined the program and like we had ever even talked in the first place. So, can you break down a little bit for me like where you were at in your fitness journey, how you felt, like motivation, discipline?
Worked out in high school. I was super into it in high school.
Hmm.
Um, I think I thought I was big and bad then, but I was like 170. Uh,
Hmm.
Freshman year of high school, I was like 130 pounds soaking wet.
Hmm.
Same thing, just lifted heavy
Hmm.
mass gainer shakes and just bulked up. I've always, I really just, all my knowledge was like bulking and, dirty
Yes,
bulking was just putting on mass and getting strong.
exactly.
And then, I fell into like addiction and bad
Hmm.
people and just bad habits and went
Hmm.
back down to 130 pounds, not healthy at
Wow.
all. I was like skin and
Fuck.
bones. Um, you can even see it on my Instagram, that one post I have where I'm like a skeleton itself. Um, that was like peak of,
Hmm.
the bad time. And, I stopped doing everything, got clean. And then I met my
Hmm.
girlfriend. She's actually the reason I got sober. And,
Yeah.
man, she just fed me. And then I got skinny fat
She
and I got
fed
to like
you.
100, I got to like 190 pounds. And I was just like, I'm all belly. At least if I have a belly, I got to have arms.
Yes.
And I again was just telling myself like I want to get to the gym. I want to get to the gym.
Okay.
And then somebody just told me one day, they're like, nobody wants to go to the gym, but you have to tell yourself I have to go to the gym.
Exactly.
And honestly, it was my day off, and I was sitting in my apartment, and I was like,
Okay.
I'm like I could relax, enjoy my day off, or like, but I was just telling myself like I have to go to the gym, and started going to the gym.
Okay.
Was hitting it super hard, but again, dirty bulk. I mean, peak bulk. I think I was eating like a minimum of 3,500 calories. Like
Okay.
that was minimum, and then I mean, on average, I
Okay.
was anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 calories, and again,
Fuck.
just
Yeah.
strength, trying to put on mass, and that's how, as you can see at the beginning of
Uh-huh.
everything, I just had so much excess pudge and
Yes.
puffiness. It's
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to diet properly. I knew about
Yeah.
it, but didn't know how to do it, and I just needed guidance doing it.
Dude, I mean, yeah, bro, that's what when I thought when we brought you on is you already have so much size on your frame. You know how to train, you train hard. That really wasn't an issue that we had actually run into. It was
Mm-hmm.
more so a matter of actually just turning the dials towards actually finding a nutrition plan that works for you and being able to
Right.
educate you about that so we could, I mean, see everything you've worked hard for, right? Despite dirty bulking, like that's still hard. You still had to show up to the
Right.
gym. You still had to show so many levels of discipline. I mean, since joining the program and from where you were starting, like you just told me, what do you feel like you've been able to achieve since joining?
Oh man, I've just been able to just like think outside of the box, do things that I'm
Okay.
not used to, kind of
Okay.
actually paying attention to like what I'm putting into my body rather than
Okay.
thinking like Sam Sulek and thinking calories are calories and
Yeah.
just eating everything
Eating
since I've,
eating
you
Krispy
know,
Kreme.
right, and ever since I started with you, it's given me that own like sense of like accountability because when it's
Okay.
yourself and someone's like me, I just am very like cookie cutter. I'm like same routine,
Yeah.
same. I when I know one thing, I I know that, and that's
Yes.
about it. It's hard for me to get outside of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And being with you, it's taught me a lot of different training styles, a lot of like hypertrophy and um, things that like when you'd send me the workouts, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, man, like I'm I'm like maybe I'm not gonna like this. I would question it, but I'm like, you know what, like I'm gonna trust the process. And
Good.
I just texted you this morning and I was like, you sent me that first workout. I'm like, man, this feels kind of short. And then man, I was trucking through that, dude. And I was just
Yeah.
the pumps are always good. I'm always sore.
Yeah.
There's never a workout where I'm like, that was mid. It's always a good workout. It surprises me, because in my
Yeah.
head I'm like, I have this, you
Yeah.
know, um, this knowledge. I know my body, but you
Yes.
know, doing someone else's and actually having a different perspective.
Yes.
Someone like you can see where I lack in my physique. You
Yes.
can see where
Exactly.
I struggle, what movements I don't like. And, you
Exactly.
can tell me that from an outside perspective rather than like,
Yes.
you know, uh, being like, man, I really like incline bench. And you're like, man, that's not it for you.
Yes.
And
Yes. I'm
it's just
following.
nice to have that guidance and
Yeah.
someone to communicate with and someone who actually like isn't just kind of tag, or stringing you along.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
nice to actually have a coach that is in constant communication, who's constantly trying to like listen and actually
Yeah.
understand, rather
Exactly.
than like a coach that's like, okay, well, you're messing up, do it my way. If you're not doing it, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Oh,
Like a
absolutely, bro.
very strict, and it's because I've talked to coaches and know buddies who have coaches where they just don't
Yeah.
adapt. They think their way is the only correct
Exactly.
way. And that's why I like communicating with you. And I say it all the time because I communicate with you, you communicate with me, and then we
Yes.
put our brains together and actually
Exactly.
formulate something that works.
Exactly. Exactly. And so much of the time, what I like to refer to coaching as, which you're great at, is you're kind of in a boxing ring and I'm in the corner and you come back every single time after a couple rounds or so. And
Right,
we put our heads together and we actually see what we're going to be able to make adjustments to because
right.
I have that third perspective about where you're at. You already have so many levels of discipline, but what we're able to do with you is we're able to push you to another level with my third eye.
It's not like you force me to do something. You're
Exactly.
very good at guiding and
Yeah.
listening and actually helping your client
Yeah.
instead of just giving them
Orders.
a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not just like a sergeant or anything. To kind of speak to those people who are maybe like watching my content, they're on the fence about joining the program, and they're just on, I mean, really on the fence about investing into themselves as a person and bringing their physique to that next level for someone maybe that's been in your position. So, if you could recommend to a friend, like maybe what would you say to them? And if someone was on the fence about the program,
because as I've told you before, I can't tell you how many coaches hit me up and want to coach me, you
yeah,
know, um, and none of them really just rubbed me the right way. It felt like more of like a
yeah,
sales pitch. I think
yeah,
me and you talked for like 2 weeks before you're even like, hey, I'm a coach. I mean, given I
yeah,
looked at your Instagram, but like you weren't
yeah,
pushy. You actually like took your time for like a week and a half, 2 weeks to
yeah.
actually talk, see what my status was, what my goals
Okay.
were, and I
Yeah,
thought that was different. It wasn't just a sales pitch from the jump where
yeah,
it's, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm a coach, buy my course, or
Yeah.
You actually talked to me, and I was always afraid to get into a coach. That's what I always try to
Yeah.
tell people too, is like it's scary because you're used to your same norm. You're used to eating kind of whatever you want. Given everybody's different and some people have different
Exactly.
levels of discipline, but it's extremely helpful to have
Yeah.
someone to hold you accountable, someone to
Yeah.
guide you when you have questions, someone that sees you from a third perspective. So I just would tell everybody it's not as scary as you think. You
Yeah.
just have to make sure you pick the right person. And
Yeah.
what I liked about your page was everything that you did, even being a smaller like content creator, all of your
Yeah.
videos have very high production.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I look at small things like that.
Yeah.
Is it like you with a tripod? Which I'm not
Yeah.
hating on people who do that. I get everybody's circumstances is different, but
Yeah.
I believe a lot of your actions reflect on how you execute
Hmm.
everything. So,
Yeah.
seeing that you put a lot of time and attention into your videos,
Yes.
I was like, this is someone I'd want to work with, and everything you say communicates well, even when you
Yeah.
coach. And that's also what I like, you know, would advise people to make sure you pick someone um, that communicates well with you. And,
Good.
I'm not even just saying it because you're my coach, but we communicate extremely well. You're
Yeah.
easy to talk to. It's never like,
Yeah.
oh, you missed a day. And it's like, you
Yeah.
never feel like disappointed or you never feel like pressured or, um,
Exactly.
it's been overall been a really good experience. I don't regret any of it. Um, I would advise people to if you want to take it to that next level.
Good.
Um, if you need that help, don't be afraid to like ask. It's nice having someone that's there for you. A coach is meant to back you up. Like you said, you're in
Yes.
my corner. I have to go out and fight. You're there to advise me, tell me how to game plan because
Exactly.
when you're working and you're in that ring, you're thinking about throwing punches, but you're not paying
Yeah.
attention to the weakness in his knee. You're not paying attention to
Aha.
he does this every
Yes.
time you do that. It's
Yes.
um, you have someone to look at your form because
Exactly.
I could have perfect form in my head, but you're like, hey, like you have done it. You said a few things, and I'm like, man, like I've been doing this kind of. I wasn't doing it completely wrong. But you're like, hey, make sure to fully extend here and even pull your wrist back. I'm like, damn, I would have never thought about pulling my wrist back.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
things like that that I think people need, and I would
Yeah.
strongly advise to do is to get someone that um, helps you in that way, and not just
Yeah.
to be a drill sergeant, give you a sheet of to dos, and then
Yes.
call it that.
Yeah. Wow, bro. I appreciate that. It always touches my heart when people say that, and I really appreciate you. And we're gonna keep doing big things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
I'm
get
ready
it,
for
bro.
it.
All right,
Yes, sir.
man. Any last words for the people?
Um, Honestly, I would hit them up, man. Like I'm not just saying it. It's a smooth, consistent journey. Nothing has been um, inconsistent. There's never been a time where I felt like this wasn't working. He constantly communicates. Overall, just a good experience, and I would recommend it to you too.